Good morning, everyone. It is Monday, September 9th, 2024. It's 9 o'clock right here in Tucson, Arizona, which means it is time for the Mindful Moment. I'm Dr. Jonathan Zenz, the Senior Minister here at Unity of Tucson. Unity of Tucson is an inclusive and loving spiritual center right here in Tucson, Arizona, where our purpose is to explore the principles of New Thought. We teach the principles of the spiritual philosophy called New Thought. And through the exploration of those principles, what I think is that we find personal purpose. We can find personal purpose. We can develop a spiritual path. And I think we can master spiritual understanding. So that's what we're here to do. And the Mindful Moment is part of that spiritual practice where I come online Monday through Thursday at 9 a.m. and offer some thoughts on a spiritual idea and then guide us through the practice of affirmative prayer. I do this consistently and choose to do this consistently because what I have found is that a consistency in my spiritual practice has enhanced the quality of my life. And so I am deeply grateful for spiritual practice in my life. And whether you're watching live or on the replay, I would love for you to post a comment and let me know that you are here. I see that one comment so far has come through. It is from Roberta saying, "Happy Monday." Happy Monday to you, Roberta, and to everyone. Grateful to see you and have you join in this time. I will, of course, offer this reminder as I await additional comments come through. Send me a comment, reach out, say hello. Let me offer this reminder, though. You are love. You are light. You are life. You are magnificent. And I am so grateful that you shine your light and share your magnificence with the world. Thank you for doing that and keep doing that, will you, please? Please. There is a comment from William saying, "Hello, Anita and William are grateful to be back in lovely Tucson. We are grateful to have you back. And always a delight to see you here on the Mindful Moment." So today, the thought that I had, so I actually, where do I begin? This is one of those days. Okay. There is a quote that has been part of my ministry from before I was a licensed minister or an ordained minister. And it was a quote that was presented to me during a practice session. That's what I'm going to call it, a practice session in a ministerial class that was on basically homiletics. Homiletics is, the manner in which we are able to, homiletics is the study of how we get up and give, a Sunday message or be able to speak a homily, the message, right? And we would do these practices called Stand and Deliver. And if you were part of my community at Tucson New Thought, I used to do a version of this for my Sunday service. When we went to two services there, the early service, I would do a Stand and Deliver message, which is get a book out. And usually it was in that point, I'm still in the religious science side of New Thought. And I would invite the community to give me a page number, paragraph number. I would read the paragraph, and then I would do an impromptu talk based on what I just read. Well, part of that is that we were trained in my ministerial training to do something like that through Stand and Deliver, where we would be given a quote and we had to speak impromptu for 5 minutes on that quote. And when I was in the study, there was one quote that came across that was given to me as the quote that I had to do a Stand and Deliver on. And it was the one time that I felt stumped in the moment. But I'm not stumped about this quote anymore because I've now committed it to memory because it was the one that stumped me. And it has actually become a significant part of my ministry, whether you know it or not. You wouldn't necessarily know that. Anyway, so the quote was this. It was a quote from The Science of Mind by Ernest Holmes. And the quote was, "At the root of all habit is one thing, the desire to express life." At the root of all habit is one thing, the desire to express life. So I'm going to let you in on the secret. So the reason this quote came up for me today is because I actually did a mindful moment 5 years ago on this date about that quote. If you go back and look at the archives, you would see that on September 9th, 2019, I spoke on this quote, and I kind of told a similar story about how this quote came into my awareness. But I think it's an important concept to understand, this idea of habit. And it has been a driving force in my ministry, because what we tend to in mind is mostly habitual thinking. And so what we are looking to address in mind to enhance the quality of our lives are the habitual thoughts. And we have habitual thoughts that are constructive. We have habitual thoughts that perhaps are destructive. And the idea is that as we work our minds, as we work our consciousness, as we work on the habits in mind, that we are crowding out the destructive habits in mind, and we're allowing the constructive habits in mind to replace them. But that quote says, at the root of all habit is one thing: the desire to express life. And so people ask me, well, how is it possible? How is it possible that a destructive habit can be rooted in the desire to express life? Well, a destructive habit can be rooted in the desire to express life when we misunderstand that habit, when we misunderstand that idea in mind. If I were to take it to, actually, I will do this. So if we take it to the realm of perhaps substance abuse, that is the habitual thing that happens, right? And I'm not an expert on substance abuse. I have dealt with, recovery programs and things as a minister. We do engage with people who are in recovery. But one thing I always say is that, substance abuse, when we are engaging in that behavior, that habitual behavior, what it is doing for us is giving a temporary feeling of living. And that is why the behavior continues, because it gives us that momentary feeling of goodness. Now, I think my experience is that in the long run, that ultimately becomes more destructive than the behavior warrants, in terms of the good feelings that it might bring on for that moment. So at the root of it is the desire to express life, even if the continued experience of it is ultimately destructive. So we have mental habits that are just like that physical habit, right? We have mental ideas that we hold on to because in the moment they might make us feel good. One of my big ones is the feeling of complaint. Why do we complain? Well, I think sometimes we complain so that we get sympathy from another, and that sympathy in the moment makes us feel good. But ultimately, the complaints are establishing a habit in mind that will move forth into the creation of our lives as bringing more to complain about. That's essentially like the law of attraction. So there's more to complain about when we are in the frame of mind of complaints. So that's the idea that is with me today that I've really been thinking about so far this morning. And like I say, this has been something that has informed my ministry, and it is an idea that I share with you with this idea. Be on high alert for the habitual thinking that perhaps is ultimately destructive, and work in the direction of crowding out those destructive habitual thoughts with constructive habitual thoughts. That's kind of the whole point and purpose of New Thought. So let's take that into our practice of affirmative prayer. Before I go there, I do want to say hello to Audrey. I think you were responding to something I said by saying, and divine. Perhaps it was, you are love, you are light, you are life, you are magnificent and divine. I hold firm that is so. Cindy, hello there. Grateful to see you this glorious day. Kathy, it was, yeah. And I actually, I'm thinking about doing that on a Sunday coming up soon. Just letting you know. Reverend Jerry Stratemeyer, morning blessings to you as well. All right, so let's take this into our prayer practice. If it is safe and comfortable for you, please feel free to close your eyes. As I say, I choose to close my eyes, as it is an opportunity for me to turn that attention to the inner life, the life of belief, the consciousness of belief, the consciousness of thought, the consciousness of feeling, all working together, they flow forth into the expression of the outer life. And so as I place my focus on the inner life, I know that I am fundamentally addressing my outer experience. And so relaxed in this moment, allowing easeful awareness, I am open to this idea, this understanding, this that I hold firm in my own resolve as the ultimate spiritual truth. And that is, God is all there is. I begin with this principle. God is all there is. There is only one source, one power, one energy. There's only one creative creator. And everything that is created is this creative creator in expression. And there is absolutely no separation. There is only God. And so all creation is the manifestation, the outward flow of God, of the inward flow of love upon itself. And so the relative and the absolute are one and the same. Everything in the world of perception, everything in the relative world, whether within my purview or beyond, it is all God. And this is inclusive of each and every one of us. We are divine. We are light, life, love, peace, beauty, power, joy, harmony, understanding, imagination. We are all these things and so much more, for the wholeness of God is available to be expressed through the wholeness of each and every one of us. And every aspect of our wholeness is wholly divine. And so I know that we are each empowered in the direction of addressing that in mind, which is habitual. And I trust and know that the habits we adopt are constructive. I hold firm in this state of mind, faithfully, that I am consistently adopting habitual thinking that is constructive, which crowds out any habitual thinking that may be destructive. I let it go. I let go of the notion that I have to hold on to anything that is not for my highest good. I release it. I trust that it simply slips away. And that which is constructive, loving, supportive, those habitual ideas are taking root and expressing themselves in mind and in expression, in heart, in life. And so with a grateful heart and appreciation, the feeling of appreciation overflowing from within, I welcome this flow and I let it be so. I release, trust, and know, and affirm it as so by saying, and so it is. Amen. So it is. Yes, yes, yes. Mark Penterman, good morning. Grateful to see you online. Kathy, yay. I think you're responding again to, I may be doing this random reading thing. And Audrey, yes, that is what you're referring to. Beautiful. Well, a delight to share this time with you. I will be back again tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. right here. Wherever you're watching from, I will be here at 9 a.m. as I am every Monday through Thursday. On Fridays at 9:30, I stream with Reverend Steph St. Amand for what we call the Rant. Rant stands for Radically Affirmative New Thought. And so it's a discussion that she and I have at 9:30 on Friday, 9:30 Pacific time on Fridays. When everybody else goes on daylight savings time, if you're in Arizona, that time will change. So I just want to give you fair warning. It will shift to 10:30 on Fridays at that point. So yeah, there we are. Lots of stuff's always going on. I want to say hello. If you would like to find out what's happening at Unity of Tucson, go to unitytucson.com, and there's information there about what we have happening. And it's a great resource. Like, subscribe, follow, all that jazz. You know what we're all trying to say. Anyway, peace and blessings. I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Make your day magnificent. And know you are magnificent. And it is truly not because of anything you do. It is simply who you are. That's a habit that I think we can all get behind. All right. Bye, everybody.